show. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a Notre Dame's new GM Speaks. Let's go over the biggest takeaways as a challenging spring for Notre Dame. Get set to begin edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Get a video thumbs up. That helps Yanni Boy out as well. Notifications, and that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter. Search bar Always Irish. Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. Don't want to see my face. Nobody blames you. Call in lines. 312-988-15. Dial it up. Tell Uncle Yanni Boy all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by SI. Read all about it every day of your life. Patreon.com/Always Irish. I got to tell you, Mike and I are hitting our stride, man. We're starting to get good at pushing each other, digging a little deeper, making the other one a little uncomfortable, making them dig, exploring some stuff. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And again, thanks to everybody that's there year-round, helping support it, keep it going. Really appreciate it. All right. Here we are, Notre Dame Nation. We're getting ready for a very unique and challenging spring ball session for Notre Dame. So as we are inching closer to that spring ball session, before we get into that, new GM Mike Martin spoke. And Mike Goolsby, not Mike Martin, Mike Goolsby and I, we did an hour-long deep dive analysis of all this stuff on Patreon. If you want to go 5 layers deep on all this stuff, check it out. It was a beautiful thing. I had a great time doing it. After looking at, listen, I'm not going to act like some football know-it-all that I knew who Mike Martin was with the Lions before he came to Notre Dame. I had no idea who the guy is, never heard of him. I know 5 people in my real life named Mike Martin. This ain't one of them. But I seriously know a handful of guys named Mike Martin. This ain't one of them. So I'm not going to act like I knew the guy. So seeing him at the presser was like my first impression of getting to know the guy. Here's a few broad bullet point takeaways. 1, he seems like a really nice guy. Like, you could see that he's a Notre Dame fit. He's well-spoken. He's respectful. How he carries himself. I do think I got the sense there was a little bit of nerves for him getting started in there. First time there in that room, all that. I sensed a little bit of that. Really nice guy. You could tell he's put together, well-spoken, family man, all those values. Perfect Notre Dame fit as far as that goes. Right off the bat, you could tell that. Here's the number 2 thing that stood out to me. How am I supposed to think when the new guy brought in to oversee all of Notre Dame's roster stuff, the comings and the goings and the portal and the recruiting guys that are going to be underneath him and all that? This is the guy in charge of it all. How do you expect me to react when he gets up there and says, I'll be honest, I kind of got to learn about high school recruiting. I'm new to that. Listen, how do you think someone like me is going to react when the guy in charge of bringing talent in the building gets at the podium and announces, yeah, I'm new to this high school recruiting thing. I'm going to have to wrap my mind around that and learn about it. Bro, for somebody like Johnny Boy, who's prone for Irish anxiety, that gave me a little. It's just in my nature. Give me a break. Give me a break. So, what does this stuff tell me? What does this tell me? What are the takeaways from this little presser? Number 1, the guy must be really, really good at a lot of high football stuff to be this unfamiliar with how college recruiting goes and to land this job. But, he was there for the Lions' ascension from the worst roster in the world my whole life to being a competitor, a contender, and all that. Like, the analytics and the numbers and the roster management and the money and how you do all that. He must be really good at that to get this job and be that unfamiliar with high school recruiting. Okay. So the number 2 thing, the branch off of that is he's going to need to hire really good lieutenants underneath him that report to him that do have high school recruiting experience. Like, I just think that's not an option. It's a necessity. When the GM's saying that's not really my thing, you're going to need some really good lieutenants at that second level underneath Martin that do have that to be able to help him out and figure that out. And we don't have those hires done yet. So I don't know. Here's the third takeaway. Mike and I spent some time talking about this. This is very interesting. It is wild how the two finalists for this job came from total opposite football worlds. Blanchard. Everybody wanted Blanchard. The collegiest guy there is. And then this guy's all pro. And those were the two options. And there's like no overlap. Their worlds are completely different. Blanchard all in the college game, Martin from the pro. It's just interesting to me. I don't know what to make of it. And I'm not acting like I do. But I just think it's an interesting thing to note. Those are the two guys. The guy who got the job and the guy they were trying to get before, total opposites. So I don't know. I'm going to say what I've been saying about this whole dynamic with the recruiting thing changing and Chad turning Cali on you and whatever. Hang 10, bro. Spicoli. There's opportunity and risk in this. There's opportunity and there's risk in this. Could be the best thing ever. Or you could find that it's not a good idea to give a guy the GM that's this unfamiliar with college football. I don't know. There's opportunity and risk. We got to see how it goes. Trust Freeman's judgment, like whatever. He's got to build a good staff underneath him that knows how a lot of this stuff goes. And then he could CEO it and then let those guys do things. You got to hire those people out quick. So let's be honest. There wasn't a lot of meat on that press conference. There wasn't a lot of answers. It was a get to know you. Like there just wasn't much there. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's a negative thing. It's just like there wasn't much meat on the bone, really. So that's my thoughts on that. On to spring ball. They announced all these guys that are out rehabbing injuries for spring, and there's a big list of them. Then they got another list of guys that are on like their individual plan because they're coming off something or they don't want them to get hurt and they're going to incrementally work in whatever. All right, so you got like what, 20-something guys either not practicing with the whole group or have their own individual thing. Here's my question. How much can you practically achieve this spring under these circumstances with 20-something of your main guys out? Goolsby was right. Right after the season ended, Mike said, it seems like spring ball's really far away, but he said there is going to be a hangover for this program from just basic bumps and bruises of going all the way through to the last game of the year. And the guys that are legit injured, he said, John, you ain't going to like it. And you want it to be a clean slate onto the next year. And he said, there's going to be a physical hangover for this program. Sure enough, he was right. What does all of this do for the quarterback contest? What does all of this do for Ash trying to get his defense set when you got 20-something of your main guys not doing nothing or limited? How much are you going to get done? How much can you practically get done under those conditions and circumstances? I don't know. Here's where I think this is headed. A very chaotic and stressful first 2 weeks of August camp, because you're just not physically able to get all this stuff done in spring. You're not going to get as much accomplished in the spring as a program as you wanted. You're just not. There's too many missing pieces to what you want to try and get all together. I don't know what that does for the quarterback thing, man, or any of this. It's readily apparent to me we're not going to get as much done in spring as we all wanted. And I want to say this too. this is all happening for good reasons. Because you went on a playoff run and played in the last game of the year. Like, we're behind in recruiting a month or so. You're behind in hiring out all your moving pieces and stuff. Guys are banged up and not ready for spring ball. Yeah, because you ran that physical gauntlet all the way to the last game of the year. So all of this stuff we're talking about is happening for a good reason, because you had a good year. So, listen, I just think you're going to end up in a position where the first week of August, when camp opens, I just think you're going to have a lot more to figure out and sort out and not a lot of time to do it. Fall camp might be what, 3 or 4 weeks? But you only got like a week and a half or 2 weeks for general camp. Then you got to get into Miami prep specifically. So I think this is all leading us down an alleyway where the first couple weeks of August are going to be chaotic, and you're going to have no snaps to spare, no time to spare, and you're going to have a lot to sort out. I just don't see it going any other way, because I don't know how much you're going to accomplish with all these limitations and physical stuff going on. And so this program's just got to do the best it can. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm glad you made it to the last game of the year. Would have been really nice if you won it. I mean, but this is all happening for a good reason. And I want us to all keep that in mind as we're talking about this. And then I'm going to wrap up with this. It's what I've been saying. All of this change brings opportunity and risk, but opportunity as well. If Notre Dame handles all this right, hires the right people, whatever, and could go into next year and show Notre Dame has staying power, then we're golden. If things start to regress, that defense is, top 20, not top 10. None of the quarterbacks look like the guy. Like, I don't know, man. If you don't start seeing an uptick in recruiting, it's going to be an anxiety situation. It's going to be an anxiety situation. I don't know what you want me to say. What do you guys think? Let me know. Don't forget to check out the merchandise. The link is in the description. You can browse and carouse all the different Always Irish gear. Make sure you head over there and get something for the next tailgate. Thanks for being here.